Hello, and welcome to a series called Building Bridges, Yes We Can, presented by the Intercultural Society of the Central Okanagan. The three people being featured are the late Dr. Gurmit Randhawa, also known as Gary, Mohini Singh, and Murli Pendbarkar. These are stories of South Asian immigrants in the Central Okanagan who've made a big difference to their community by building bridges.
This is a story about a man who fought hard to save people from various illnesses and life-threatening diseases, but in the end, in 2008, he succumbed to cancer. Dr. Gary Randhawa was the chief pathologist at Kelowna General Hospital. He was passionate about providing good medical care for all Canadians.
He's a very generous man, so he gave of his expertise. He liked to train people. He'd like to encourage other pathologists that came to town and help train them, get them established. But then he had a touch with all people, not just Indo-Canadian people, white people, anybody who lived in Kelowna. This was his home, and he embraced all people, and he wanted to see them succeed, and he wanted them to be healthy.
Dr. Randhawa not only cared about people in Kelowna, but he traveled across British Columbia to make sure everyone had access to preventative measures like flu shots.
Then he did so much community work. He was out there with his, in fact, he'd talk about it when he'd come to Vancouver about the health fairs that he would run, not only here in Kelowna, but also in Surrey. He would run flu clinics. He was always promoting health. He was a bundle of energy.
Each year, he would organize flu clinics, and when Canadians faced threats of flu pandemics, he would promote the need to have flu vaccinations. He made sure the elderly in Kelowna's South Asian community were all vaccinated in time to prevent them from falling sick.
Before, nobody gave us flu shot here. I mean, older people, they were just waiting, and what he gave, from the government, you have to be over 60 years old, but he start 55 plus for everybody. Even if someone not 55 comes to, he gave free flu shot.
Dr. Randhawa is survived by his wife, Dr. Sujata Randhawa, also known as Sue, his son Jason, and daughter Jasmine. His brother-in-law, Akash Ratan, says his death has left a big hole in Kelowna.
The impact that he's had, I think you see today. I think you see the growth of the community, you see the hospital growing, you see pathologists coming in. I think he's had a significant impact. And the thing about Gary's work is the impact that you'll see is there'll be a ripple effect. Is as Kelowna grows and the province grows, is you will see that impact that he's done years before, and it's going to last a long time.
Dr. Randhawa was a man well known for more than his medical expertise. He was also known for his philanthropy and his contribution to the South Asian community. He was instrumental in having this Gurdwara or Sikh temple built on Rutland Road, a place big enough to hold a large gathering for those wanting to get together to pray. In doing so, Dr. Randhawa nurtured the spiritual requirements of those immigrants who needed a place to worship.
He did a lot for Kelowna, not just for the Eastern community, but for everybody. And he has some fishermen, like everybody follow him. And he also did temple in Kelowna, and he's the only one who started that, and then everybody else followed him.
His family and friends say although his untimely death was a huge blow to all of them, his legacy will live on. An award has been set up at the new medical school at UBC Okanagan. The hope is to give young Canadians the opportunity to make the same contributions that Dr. Randhawa made to Kelowna.
He was a tremendous mentor to me, and not having him here is, I'm not sure that there are shoes that can be filled. But we see that other people have been touched by his life and now are encouraged to maybe go and do something on their own. So I hope that happens here in Kelowna.
To sum it up, was really a servant for others. He committed his life to give. He didn't really want anything in return. He was so dedicated to his community, to his family, to his religion. All he wanted to do was give and just make the world a better place.
She took her oath of Canadian citizenship in 1989. Since then, Mohini Singh has been committed to the country she calls home.
But having come to Canada, you realize that you can do anything you really want to do. You can accomplish any goal you set out for yourself. And if there's something you really want to strive for, there are the avenues there to accomplish your dream.
An immigrant from India, Mohini moved to Canada with her family in 1983. In 1989, she arrived in the Okanagan to work for CHBC Television. An accomplished reporter, she covered the Valley's big news stories for 18 years.
From the Penticton side, it may seem that...
But the stories that inspired her most were the ones that gave her the chance to help and give back. Like the story of this young boy whose dream was to ride the rails. Mohini helped make that a reality.
Well, you know, when I got into journalism, it walks you. I didn't realize how much it just takes you into people's lives. You get to see them firsthand. You walk into their homes, you hear about their life story. And really, when you're standing there listening to their story as a human being, it's really, really important to understand where they're coming from. It was 18 years of journalism, almost 20 years of journalism, that drove me to look at life from a different perspective.
Working in television and radio was a rewarding career, but journalism wasn't everything to Mohini. She believes strongly in giving back to a country that has given her so much. Her passion continues to be helping others.
You know why it's important to help women and children is because the children are the future of our country. And if we can give them the basis and the stability to move forward, that's the best thing we can do. And that's why I was drawn to the women's shelter, and they do such good work.
Mohini and her husband Finbar O'Sullivan made their dream to become a family true. A little girl came into their lives from India.
She and her husband were so touched by what they saw in a recent visit to her homeland, they adopted a little girl and have given her a chance at a better life here in the Okanagan. But the longtime reporter wanted to do more and started an organization to help the Calcutta-based orphanage where her new daughter came from.
In her tradition of giving back, Mohini established the East Meets West Orphans Foundation. This charity raises money to help India's abandoned children get vital medical treatment. So far, they've saved the lives of dozens of children and say their work has only started.
I just put it out there. I've got a board of directors, friends who felt the same way, came together, and I'm talking people who are not of Indo-Canadian or immigrant backgrounds, people from all different walks of life have come together, and we collectively raised money to help these abandoned children, especially those who are disabled and in desperate need for medical attention, to be able to lead complete lives.
In 2008, Mohini was honored with BC's top civic award, the Order of British Columbia, for her contribution to the province. A year later, the city of Kelowna honored her with Woman of the Year.
Mohini has been a wonderful asset to the city of Kelowna. And she was recognized recently as the Woman of the Year. Her involvement in the women's shelter, which has been in existence for nearly 30 years, and Mohini's involvement has been nearly half of that. So from my perspective, she's been a real asset and an important figure in our community.
It's very hard to fit in, I understand, but one has to find the time to give back to the community they live in, because it's the community they live in that will give them the quality of life. So it's a two-way street, really, and it's really important for us as immigrants to also show that we're not here. I'd like the community to know we're not here just to take, we also want to give back.
Today, Mohini works for the BC Ministry of Agriculture as a communications officer. But her most important work, that of community volunteer, has just begun.
I would like to do this for as long as I can. For as long as I live, I'd like to give back to Canada. Murli Pendbarkar may have retired from his teaching career, but for him, life has not slowed down.
Murli, come on, supper is ready. When are you coming?
His kitchen table is now his head office. It's here this retired Central Okanagan School Superintendent does what he's most passionate about, helping people in need.
My parents, although they were very poor, were very kind and generous, always urged us to help others. Then my older brother, starting at the age of 15, got involved in community work, political work. He was my role model. Then, of course, as I grew and as I became active myself, that was at the age of 14 and 15, I got to know about Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi said, you must provide service, selfless service.
Murli began his teaching career in Africa in Dar es Salaam. A shortage of teachers in Canada brought him to Saskatchewan, and from there, this educator's journey led him to Kelowna, British Columbia.
When I came to our village, because I was ill one year, I couldn't write the exams. I was in Devruk, that's where I met Sudha. We got married, and her father said, there are great jobs in East Africa, why don't you take a Bachelor of Education degree? So I went to, of all the places, Shantiniketan, Tagore's University. That was the best thing that ever happened to me, because the quality of teaching there, the ideas the couple of people brought there were very modern. And right after that, I went to Africa and taught for 7 years. And so I have had a really good time teaching. I still meet students of last 25, 35 years that talk about how unique my teaching was. And we have contacts, Sudha and I, in every community that we have lived. This was much more than a job. It was more a calling. My concept that I want to help the community, work with the community, was very much a part of my career.
Murli's desire to serve the needs of his community pushed him to serve on many boards, including the Central Okanagan School Board and the Okanagan-Similkameen Regional Health Board, which was later named the Interior Health Authority. But what Murli is most passionate about is his work with the Rotary Club of Kelowna. He humbly states he has worked on dozens of projects, but his greatest accomplishment was in a place called Murli in Gujarat, India. He raised money through Rotary International to build a dam in that community. The move brought an abundant supply of water to the farmers, and it also brought hope for the future.
First of all, we have no idea in this part of the world what it is not to have water in the community. For them to get water 4 hours a week, 8 months of the year prior to this project being successfully completed was just a very tough living condition, just that one item alone. We changed that. So their life completely changed in terms of availability of water. We are providing now water, treated water, to 20 kilometers, within 20 kilometer radius. Now in this place, one crop was impossible to grow because no rain for often 2 years at a time. Now they are growing 3 crops. Now we have a clinic established on the site. This clinic provides free service to those who can't afford it. And if you really want to see, real joy, you have to go visit Murli and say, I come from Kelowna, I know Murli Pendbarkar. That's
All his work is well regarded by other Rotarians.
So Murli, I just want to thank you for everything you've done in our community.
Thanks very much for this.
And this is well-deserved recognition.
Rotary International recognized Murli for his amazing contribution by giving him one of the highest awards, which reflects the club's motto, service above self.
The theme for Rotary this year is building communities and bridging continents. And Murli absolutely epitomizes this idea. His work through Rotary has been absolutely incredible. Give you a few examples. He chaired the World Community Service Committee for the past several years, and during that time he has done, through our club, more World Community Service projects than probably 10 other clubs have done.
But Murli Pendbarkar says his work is far from over.
I feel really great that for a boy born and brought up in a little village of 800 people that has not progressed beyond where it was when I was born, gets the opportunities to see the world, to be very active prominently in a community like the Central Okanagan or in the Rotary world is incredible, and I feel great about that, not for me, but for people like me.
Thank you all for watching. This presentation was made possible in part with assistance from Citizenship and Immigration Canada.